welcome everybody. And when you are ready, I'll invite you to make your way to your mat. And then start off in your most comfortable space. So whether that means you're lying flat on the back, you could start seated, or maybe you start in child's pose. So wherever you can take this opportunity to go a little bit deeper into self, as you invite your breathing to become a bit more deepened. With your next inhalation, draw awareness back into your present moment, back into your physical space. As you exhale, or as you feel ready, slowly, carefully remove any props that may be underneath you, making your way to your back. Let's invite both knees to bend, feet flat on the floor if they're not already. And on an exhalation, we're going to hug that right knee towards right armpit, inviting a half happy baby leg, while allowing left knee to drop open to the left, half reclined butterfly leg. So remember the right leg, you can hold on to the front of the shin, back of the thigh, or bottom of that right foot. This is a really great posture to release the groins, the pelvic floor, the low back, the hip sockets in many different orientations. This is a really great posture for a lot of stuff down there. And then carefully we'll bring both feet back down to the floor, knees bent. Exhale as we switch sides. That left knee hugs towards left armpit, half happy baby leg, while inviting right knee to drop open to the right, half reclined butterfly leg. Taking a few deeper breaths. And with your next exhalation, let's also hug right knee towards right armpit. So I know this is the beginning of practice, but do explore your fullest expression of happy baby, rocking or stationary. So for some of us, that may mean in the beginning of our practice, we simply hug or hold on to the front of the knees or shins. Others, backs of thighs. And if you've done some body work maybe this morning or some stretching, maybe you're able to reach those feet. Any variation is excellent for the hips, the low back, as well as the pelvic floor. And with your next exhalation, we'll all meet by hugging those knees in towards the chest, creating a few low back circles one direction. And gently reverse. And let's open those arms up like a T. And as we exhale, we're going to release knees over to your right. 3 or 4 deeper breaths. So not only is this going to be fully releasing to your entire spinal column and create some calming in the nervous system, but it is going to create a nice stretch for that outer left hip, butt, and IT band of the leg. And you'll have to forgive, I still have my plumber here working on my bathroom, so I know he's drilling a couple things, so if you hear that noise, please forgive me. And as we inhale, let's return to center. As we exhale, let's release those knees to the other side. Another 3 to 4 deeper breaths. As you inhale, we're going to return to center, releasing those feet back to the floor. And let's bring those arms to the sides of the body as we flow with a few Setu Bandhas, bridge poses. So on an inhalation, you'll lift the hips into the air. And on an exhalation, you'll lower hips back down to the floor. And let's flow a few more times, your breath pace, as we're articulating through each vertebrae in the spinal column, as well as mobilizing the entire spinal column and the front and backs of the hips. For some of us, we may feel a stretch in our quadriceps, the tops of the thighs. And whenever next your hips settle back down to the floor, no rush, we'll meet you there. Let's cross the right ankle over left knee. If this is plenty for your body, please remain here. And if you do need a tad bit more, I'll invite you to reach through for that left side, drawing everything towards the chest. You can either remain here. Those of you who want to add an extra hamstring stretch in can then extend through that left leg. Rocking or stationary, honoring that that right foot is flexed, protecting your ankle and your knee joint. Taking some deeper breaths here. And let's carefully release that left foot down to the floor if it's not currently there. Either opening the arms up like a T, or if you're looking for a deeper shoulder and chest stretch, you can interlace those fingers, reach palms up and overhead. And as you exhale, we're going to release our legs over to the left, actively reaching the outer edge of right knee towards inner edge of left ankle bone. Creating a nice deep psoas stretch here, outer hip and IT band stretch. What's going on in this? As we inhale, let's return to center. As we exhale, we're going to completely cross that right knee over the left. 2 knees are now stacked. Option 1 is to remain here. Option 2 would be to hug those stacked knees in towards the chest. Option 3 would be to flex feet and gently separate lower legs. Rocking or stationary in any variation. And so remembering that this is a very different posture than the previous posture. It stretches the piriformis, that deep outer hip muscle, a bit deeper, and can help to broaden the low back, finding spaciousness there. And let's take another full deep breath. And if that left foot is not currently on the floor, I'll invite you to release it back down to the floor, either opening arms up like a T or interlacing, reaching them up and overhead. We'll all shift the hips slightly over to the right so we can realign the spine properly. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the left. So we're encouraging this deep spinal twist with an outer hip and IT band stretch. Inviting a few more deeper breaths. And as we inhale, let's return to center. Carefully shift our hips back to center. As we exhale, let's hug that right knee towards right armpit, half happy baby leg, and allow left knee to drop open to the left, half reclined butterfly leg. And observing if this is different from the first time around. Maybe it's a bit more comfortable, or maybe you find yourself deeper into the posture itself. And let's carefully release both feet to the floor. Knees are bent as we cross left ankle over right knee. Remember, we want that space in between the legs for this one. And either remaining here, reaching through for right thigh with hands or strap, and or maybe you're extending through the right leg for that added hamstring stretch. With any option, you can choose to rock, to add a little massage to the low back, or remain stationary. For some people, if the spine is a bit too bony, the rocking isn't a comfortable experience. And if the right foot is not currently on the floor, let's release it back down to the floor. Either opening arms up like a T or interlacing those fingers up and overhead as we gently release our legs over to the right. Reaching outer edge of left knee towards inner edge of right ankle bone. And continuing your deeper breathing. Finding spaciousness in left side body. As you inhale, let's return to center. And as you exhale, completely crossing that left knee over the right, two knees are now stacked, either remaining here. Option 2 would be to hug those knees in towards the chest. And option number 3 would be flex those feet and gently separate lower legs, rocking or stationary. And if that right foot is currently off the floor, I'll invite you to keep the knees stacked, but release right foot to the floor. Either opening arms up like a T or interlacing up and overhead, shifting those hips to the left, and as we exhale, dropping knees over to your right. So this is a really great twist, not only for the entire spinal column and opening up the lower body, but especially if you've been shoveling those pec muscles, the chest muscles tend to tighten up. So this deeper twist also allows for a deeper chest opening. And as we inhale, let's return legs to center. Carefully shift those hips back to center. As we exhale, let's hug left knee towards left armpit. Right knee drops open to the right. So you've got your half happy baby leg with your half reclined butterfly leg. And then let's also add that right knee towards right armpit. So you're exploring your fullest expression of happy baby, rocking or stationary. Once again, taking a moment to observe. Does this feel a lot more comfortable than it did first time around? Maybe the knees are closer to armpits. Maybe it feels more nourishing to your emotional state currently. And with your next exhalation, let's hug both knees in towards the chest. I'll invite you to roll to your right hand side and then carefully make your way to all fours. Absolutely no rush. Whenever you do arrive, you can begin to flow with cat and cow. So remember your exhales, draw your spine closer towards the ceiling, while your inhales, draw your spine closer towards the floor. Great opportunity to have your eyes closed, feel your breath, create your movement. And whenever next you even yourself out, no rush, we'll meet you back in center. Make sure you do have your bricks next to you. And with an exhalation, let's bring that right leg through into a low lunge. So you may wish to double up that mat for our left knee. And once we come into our lunge, I'm going to invite you to just bend that left knee a little bit, giving yourself a little bit deeper of a quad stretch. We're not trying to reach around for it at this point. Just sinking into it. And then carefully, we'll release that left leg. Make sure the hands are on the inside of that right leg. And I'll invite you to come into your deepest hip stretch. So some of us remain on hands, others use some variation of bricks, and others may lower to the forearms, either on your bricks or your floor. Wherever you arrive, take 5 to 6 deeper breaths. Let yourself sink and settle into both hip sockets, your inner thighs, your pelvic floor. And lots going on here. And then carefully, if you're on forearms, let's make our way back to hands. We're going to place those hands on either side of that right leg. And so for most of us, we're probably going to want to come up on the highest height of the bricks. We're going to flow a little bit. So as you inhale, you're going to straighten through that right leg the best you can. And then as you exhale, bend deeply into the right knee. And gently find your flow back and forth. Really nice way to stretch our hamstrings. Opening up that back and outer right hip. Remember that right knee does not have to fully extend. And so the next time you bend into that right knee, absolutely no rush. Maybe you stay on bricks, maybe you come to the floor. We're once again going to bend that left knee. Maybe some of us stay here for that quad stretch. Others may reach around with one or both hands, coming into a deeper quadricep stretch. So we're getting that stretch in the front of the left hip. Make sure we are lifting up through the pelvic floor, drawing our navel in towards the spine. Let's inhale, release that left leg if you're holding on to it. We're going to carefully shift our way back to all fours. And on an inhalation, we're going to shift our way forward into some variation of plank. Remember, our navel's lifting up towards the spine. Hips and shoulders are about at the same level. As we exhale, let's lower the hips to the floor. And as we inhale, inviting either Sphinx, Up Dog, Balasana, a back bend that is resonating with your body in this moment. No matter your back bend, we want to keep those scapula, shoulder blades drawing together on the back, the chest broadening forward. As we exhale, let's lower all the way down. And we're going to scoop that right arm underneath left armpit. Come to rest on the right side of the face. Mat, brick, or pillow. Our left armpit is sinking as closely towards right arm as possible. And then for those of you that want to add extra, you'd bend those knees to a 90-degree angle, flex the feet, and allow those feet to drop over to the left side of the mat. And let's carefully draw those feet back to center and release them. Shifting our way back, drawing that right arm out from underneath you. We're going to place that right arm parallel with the front edge of the mat as we draw the knees together, lift our navel towards the spine. And again, some of us may just bend that left knee. Others may reach around for the left pant leg, strap, or leg, coming into another quadricep stretch. Left side. Taking another full deep breath or two. And then carefully release. As we inhale, let's shift our way back to all fours. And as we exhale, we're going to bring that left leg through into a low lunge. So remember, you may wish to double up the mat for that right knee for a little added comfort. And we're going to have the hands on the inside of that left leg, whether they're on bricks, mat, or floor. And then just for a gentle starter, we're going to bend that right knee. Wherever it goes, we're not trying to reach for it, just giving it a little beginning opening to the front of the right hip, the right quads. Let yourself sink into that stretch. And then carefully, we're going to release that right leg and then come into your deepest hip stretch. So whether you remain on hands or bricks, maybe you lower to the forearms in some variation, either on floor or bricks. Enjoying a few deeper breaths here. Maybe you let the head dangle and you're turning the head side to side. And with your next inhalation, if you're on forearms, let's make our way back up to hands. We're going to place those hands on either side of the left leg. Again, most of us want to come to the highest height of these bricks and then begin to flow with your breath. So your inhale extends that left leg the best you can. Your exhale bends deeply into that left knee. Flow a few times, your breath pace. Whatever speed you're taking this at, make sure it's a very mindful speed. And absolutely no rush. Whenever next your left knee bends, you come back into that deeper lunge here. You can either remain with hands on bricks, but we're all going to bend that right knee. Maybe you just bend it, or maybe you reach around for pant leg, strap, or ankle. Coming into that deeper quadricep stretch. Another deep breath or two here. And then carefully release that right leg as we shift our way out of all fours and make our way into a plank of your choice. Navel's drawing up towards spine. We are reaching out through heels and chest in two opposing directions. As we exhale, we're going to lower. And as we inhale, coming into a back bend of your choice, Sphinx Up Dog. So remember, Balasana is a variation where you clasp the hands behind the back. Sometimes that one can be really nourishing for some bodies. And then as we exhale, we're going to lower, scooping that left arm underneath right armpit, allowing that right armpit to sink as closely towards the left arm as possible while resting on the left side of the face. If you want that added intensity, you would bend the knees to a 90-degree angle, flex feet, and allow those feet to drop over to the right side of the mat, maintaining that 90-degree angle. And let's carefully draw those knees back to center, release them to the floor. As we draw that left arm out from underneath you and place that left forearm parallel with the front edge of the mat. As you draw your knees together, lifting your navel towards your spine. And we're going to reach around for that right pant leg, ankle, or strap, coming into a second quad stretch, right side. Make sure you keep scooping that tailbone down towards the floor to intensify your stretch. We're going to carefully release that right leg. Take another breath or two in Sphinx or Up Dog, opening out through the chest. And with your next exhalation, we're going to settle back into Balasana, child's pose. So remember, your big toes are touching. Knees can be together for that low back release, or knees can be set apart for a deeper hip opening, your choice. And after 3 to 5 deeper breaths, I'll invite you to gently make your way to seated. Any comfortable seated posture. Drawing your hands to heart center. And I thank and honor you for joining me in practice today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Namaste.